It is finally time, folks. The clouds are disappearing, the sun is in the sky, and the rain has stopped, and it is time for the 2024 Carboot season. And if this is anything to go by, this season could be the craziest of all time.
Get pickups! Food in the games room! Road trips! Not get your hand!
Hello again, folks, welcome back to a very special episode for many reasons. The first of which, the more observant of you may have realised I've moved around the games room. That's because I'm currently in the middle of organised chaos and reorganising the games room. So that means very soon I'm going to have my games room tour for 2024. But here and now, the most exciting thing in today's video, it is finally time. It is the return of the Carboots for the 2024 Carboot season. That's right, folks, the Carboots are finally back. But everything wasn't quite what I expected. But I'll get onto that very, very soon. But first, I want to remind you, folks, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday night at 5, as well as bonus content for the week. And I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, back to the Carboots, finally. Like I said then, the 2024 Carboot season didn't exactly start how I expected. This right here is the very first Carboot at Arming Hall for the 2024 season, and as you can see, sadly this one was a bit of a washout. This was a Wednesday morning, and about half an hour before I got there it started raining, and I presume most people just gave up as a bad job and packed up and left. There was very few stalls, very little to see here, and what there was here was sadly wet and just genuinely disappointing. But here's the thing, my local Carboot at Arming Hall is every Wednesday and every Sunday. And thankfully, when Sunday came around, the weather was a lot better. The sun was out, and more importantly, it was a lot drier. And check out the scenes here in just the first of two of the massive car parks. This was bright and early on a Sunday morning, and the people were definitely here. The ground was still pretty damp, which did mean the Carboot was only on about half of the area it's normally on, but there was still a decent amount of cars, and I was hoping for a really good Carboot. So let's hope after that kind of false start of the Wednesday Carboot that this, the first Sunday Carboot, would be the kickstart which I needed for the 2024 Carboot season. Here it is then, the first find of 2024 Carboot season, this Nintendo Switch Labo. And here's the thing, with something like this, it's very hard to tell if it's complete. If it's super cheap, I'd take a risk, but honestly, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Labo stuff at the Carboot, so I passed this time. This is one of my favourite things to see at the Carboots, a table of video games, but more specifically, Xbox 360 games. That's because your Xbox 360, your PlayStation 3, your PlayStation 2, and your OG Xbox. This is the best place to pick these up super cheap. Unfortunately, this time all of these games were £3 or 2 for a £5, and there was nothing I really needed at those prices, so I did pass, because honestly my Xbox collection is pretty large already, and there was just nothing there I needed. So one thing I am going to try and do in the 2024 season is take a few more risks, and that's why I picked up this Xbox One controller. They were asking a £5, I got them down to £4. It hasn't got a battery cover, but I can get those cheap enough off eBay. The buttons seemed pretty good at the time, but more on that later. We'll talk about this one in the pickups. Now, at most Carboots, you will see these, the kind of house clearance stalls, where they just have boxes and boxes of stuff. And more often than not, there'll be a box of normally video games. It's normally mainly FIFAs. Of course, there's only one or two of these FIFAs that hold any value, especially on the Xbox 360. But here's the thing about Carboots. You always need to check, and it's always worth having a look, as you never know what's hiding. And that is what I love about the Carboots. You never know what is hiding in any of these boxes, and you literally just have to get stuck in and dig through these for that hidden gold. Not really hidden gold, but this was quite interesting. This Desert Lore game looks kind of like a Fallout clone. Looks pretty interesting for the PC, but I did pass because I don't really collect too much for the PC. It has to be a very, very good game for me to pick up for the PC. Mainly football games here. Some kind of filler tiles, nothing too interesting, so I did pass here. But like I said, if you don't dig, you'll never know if there was something hiding which you missed. Always pays to check. Now, as well as video games and a Carboot, I'm always looking for retro toys. Toys such as this vintage Tracy Island toy, an absolutely iconic toy from my youth. Unfortunately, this one was nowhere near complete, so I did pass. But this is more like it. Check out this box of video games. Now, I got to the Carboot about an hour after it started, and these are the kind of places where you can find some absolute bargains. But this is the thing, the early bird catches the worm, but sometimes you can find some games which other people have missed, and once again, it goes back to that thing of digging. You just have to dig through these massive boxes, but if not, if you're starting collecting, this is a great way to do it. This is how I would say I built easily 50% of my game collection. Just going through the Carboots and just going through boxes like these. Picking the games up for like 50p a pound. It all adds up over time, and it's just an amazing way to build a video game collection on the cheap, because at the end of the day, it's not all about the super expensive games. There's some absolutely fantastic titles which you can pick up here for bargains. But unfortunately for me this time, even though there was countless bangers here, there was nothing I needed for my collection personally. But let me know in the comments down below if there's anything I've missed, any game which holds some value, or any game that you would have picked up which is a hidden gem. I really love hearing from you, so please comment down below any games which I've missed from this massive bundle. I'm sure there's at least one. Of course, when I'm at the Carboot, I'm always looking for games which I can trade into CX for that sweet in-store credit, and this one would have been a really good one if it had both discs, so I did pass this time. I won't bore you with the details, but I did pick up a handful of t-shirts from this seller just because all these shirts were £1 each, and at those prices, honestly, it's hard to pass. Love them or hate them, at every Carboot we have video game resellers, and honestly, I don't see any problem in these at Carboots. At the end of the day, they go out their way to find stock so you can add games to your collection, and most of the time you can get some decent deals here. Yes, of course, you do get some scumbags who charge super duper prices, but thankfully that wasn't the case today. There were some really good prices here, a really good selection of games, and honestly, if you're looking for the newer gen, this is a great way to do it, but also for some of the retro games. There were some really cool bits here, some really nice steelbooks, some PlayStation 1 games, just a plethora of everything which I like, and some real rarities here. This is the advantage of the reseller. They literally go out of their way to find games to resell to you. So I don't know why a lot of people bash these. At the end of the day, they are doing the hard work, they are doing the sourcing, you just have to pay the money. And there was some really good stuff here, some GameCube games, some N64, just a little bit of everything. Nothing which I needed this time. I was quite tempted by Excite Bike, but I did pass. They were asking a £5, which honestly is a fair game price on that one. I was going to come back to this stall, but I did drop a little bit of money in a minute, as you're about to see. Some real bangers here. Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. You're not really normally expected to see games like that at the Carboot. But this is just the tip of the iceberg this time, because ironically, opposite this stand was one of the best Carboot stands I've ever seen, and if this is a sign of things to come in 2024, then it really seems we're in for a treat this Carboot season. So let's start to build the tension. Here we have a box of pretty good PlayStation 3 games. There were some big box games. We've got some Amiga and some PC games here, which you don't see very often at a Carboot. Some really cool stuff here. Some absolutely incredible artwork on these, and all of this stuff was in really good condition. But here's where we start to get into the good stuff. Master System games, boxed and complete, and straight away I had to grab this one, this Master System Classics game here, because you just don't see the Classics variants of Mega Drive and Master System games very often, and I had to grab this one. How much you got on that one, buddy?
Has it got the menu? I can't remember.
No, it hasn't, unfortunately.
£5.
Off to a good start then, a boxed Master System game for a £5, and next up we have some boxed Nintendo cardboards, and we have a copy of Pilot Wings. Yes, this is the NTSC version, but honestly, when was the last time you saw a boxed and complete SNES game at the Carboot? If I can grab this at the right price, I'm definitely going to get this one. How much you got on Pilot Wings?
£5.
£5 for a boxed and complete copy of Pilot Wings. There's no way I can say no, and I'm going to grab some more of these Master System games because these prices are fantastic. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego boxed and complete again for a £5. We got some loose manuals here, but nothing I needed, so I did leave those behind because I know it's so hard to find these manuals. A box and complete copy of Alien Storm, again for a £5. Yes, I'm definitely grabbing that one. This one was super duper interesting, so I did have to ask. Is this one is that a newer one?
It's a homebrew.
Homebrew.
So it's, yeah, through the Sega Power forums, but it's 30 quid. So I think I paid 50 for it when I bought it. But
Yeah, some of the homebrews are mad expensive. How much you got on these two?
I'll do it for £5 each.
That is what I love about the Carboot. You never know what to expect. I was never expecting today to turn up and pick up box and complete retro games for a £5. It just blew my mind. It kind of overwhelmed me for the rest of the Carboot. I was still hunting. I found a few bits, but honestly, after that high, I was kind of done for the day. It had been a good day. I had found some absolutely incredible retro, and this had only been the first Carboot of the season, if we kind of ignore the Wednesday one because it was an absolute washout. This was pretty cool. I never knew that a Jackass movie was released on VHS, but I must keep telling myself not to collect VHS. Some pretty cool controllers here. I think they're asking £15 on these, but honestly, who buys controllers at the Carboot? Ironically, me earlier in the video, so I did pass on these ones, but I just always find it weird when people just have boxes and boxes of these brand new controllers. Let me know in the comments if you know why this is. I have no idea. It's pretty cool to see, and I guess literally you can buy anything at the Carboot. So there it was, the first week of Carboots of the 2024 season, and what an incredible start to what is hopefully going to be an absolutely amazing season. Here we are then, back in the games room for the very first Carboots of the 2024 season, and even though the Wednesday Carboot was a washout, Sunday delivered. It was definitely quality over quantity, but we got some amazing pickups from that amazing Carboot, and this is just the beginning. So our first pickup is this Xbox One controller. Like I said in the video, this year I want to take more risks. Now normally when it comes to controllers, I won't pick these up unless they have the batteries and I can test them, but I'm happy to say this one does turn on. Now I picked this up for just £4, and here's the thing, I always check all the buttons, and the problem is 9 times out of 10 the A button on this controller is fine, but every so often it'll stick. So please let me know in the comments down below how easy it is to fix this A button. As you can see, most of the time it works. I'm just thinking this is a bit gunked up, so let me know how easy is it to take apart these controllers and fix basic problems like this. Our next pickups from the Carboot were all from the same seller who I've actually added on Facebook, and he's going to be back selling soon, and I cannot wait to see what else he has to sell because it's all doubles from his collection. And this is a great way to kind of get rid of some of the stuff you don't need to get money to buy stuff you do need. So the first game we have is for the Master System. It's Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2. That's a real mouthful. Now the main reason I picked this up is because it's the classic Master System release. Now you don't see these classics very often. This isn't exactly a high value game, but to be able to pick this up for a £5, even though it doesn't have the manual, is an absolutely fantastic start to the 2024 season. But the Master System love doesn't end there. Next up we have for £5 again, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? What I love about this one is Sega for the 90s generation. That sticker is absolutely fire. I have never played this Master System game, but it is boxed and complete with a manual, and for a £5 you just can't go wrong. Our final Master System pickup is this game right here, Alien Storm. Once again, this was only a £5, and once again it's complete with a manual, but it's the description on the back of this game which sells it for me. This is how they had to sell the games. They couldn't really sell them on the artwork, even though it's incredible, or the graphics, but these descriptions. So, shape-shifting alien scum take over your city, fry the slimy horrors and smash their bid for global conquest, blast into action with fire blazers, electric whips, and more. If that doesn't sell this game to you, I don't know what will. Now, it's not very often I pick up tape-based games at the Carboot, but my wife just couldn't resist this copy of Gauntlet, The Deeper Dungeons. And it's just, again, the artwork on this is absolutely incredible, and it just blows me away that this one game could work on so many different consoles, and that each console looked so different. Our final pickup absolutely blew me away. When I went to the Carboot bright and early on a Sunday morning, I was not expecting to see vintage Nintendo cardboard. And that's exactly what I was greeted by with this copy of Pilot Wings for the SNES. Now, this is in fairly rough condition. I've had this in a box protector now for the best part of a week, and it has made it a lot better. But here is the thing. We are talking about a game which is well over 20 years old. These games got damaged, and just finding them nowadays is getting harder and harder. But to find this for just £5 at a Carboot, even though it is the NTSC copy, which honestly made me want to pick it up more because of course I own the PAL version, just gives me a big boost of faith for the 2024 Carboot season. Let's just hope I can continue to find bangers like this one. There we have it then, folks. That was the first Carboots of the 2024 season. But let me know in the comments down below, has your local Carboot come back yet? Or is the weather still stopping play? Absolutely amazing finds this week, and I'm going to be back on the Carboots every single week. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time, keep playing the game. See you all soon.